This is how the people of Rajasthan have been collecting rainwater for thousands of years. A growing population and the changing climate has put their way of life under threat. Rajasthan's culture and people go back thousands of years. Long before the birth of Christ, this area was ruled by wondrous empires. A land of tigers, elephants, beautiful fabrics, palaces and temples. Hinduism predates all other religions, and its teachings are enshrined in the traditions and ways of life here. In Rajasthan, the people have lived happy and content lives all this time, but water is sacred. It falls during the monsoon season only 3 months each year, and during this time, the families must use traditional methods to capture rainwater and then store it for the following 9 months. However, the changing climate and the population boom seen across the world is putting this way of life and their fragile culture at risk. Erratic monsoon seasons leave families without sufficient water, forcing women and children to walk up to 6 hours a day for water from polluted ground wells, whilst the men have to leave for weeks at a time for wage labour in poor conditions. Okay, so my name is Tim Good, and I started a foundation in 2011 after my brother passed away running a half marathon whilst raising money for a school in Uganda. Since then, we've helped many good causes around the world, but this one's really caught my eye. But before I got involved, I wanted to see for myself how they were spending your money and if it was effective. I travelled to Rajasthan in the northwest of India and then spent 3 weeks visiting the WaterHarvest projects on the ground. They work with local communities to adapt to their ancient rainwater capture methods, ensuring their traditions are not eroded away by our Western influences. The water here is sacred and intrinsically linked to their way of life. One traditional method is a huge circle of compacted earth that funnels water into a big pit, which they then cover with bushes. This pit would hopefully then contain enough fresh water for the entire dry season. WaterHarvest now works to improve these catchment areas and tanks to catch more water, filter it, and then store it in a better way. I also managed to visit some of the families that have benefited from WaterHarvest's help a number of years ago. It's quite amazing to see how such a simple adaptation can make such an impact and support an entire community. In this family, 3 generations live together in one of the most remote parts of the desert. They now have enough water to grow watermelons and have livestock. I've seen and worked with NGOs and charities in the Philippines, Africa, and Central America, but WaterHarvest is an exceptional case where the money raised in the UK goes a huge way. I've done the figures, assessed their books, and 80p of every pound you give reaches the ground here. But most importantly, it is then managed by a team in India who live and breathe the values of the project. For me, it is important to remember that these people are not refugees, affected by war, nor afflicted by disease. They are simply locked into a poverty cycle through lack of clean drinking water. This is much more than saving lives. It is a chance to preserve one of the world's most beautiful and oldest cultures, and it is in our power to help them adapt their traditional rainwater harvesting methods, restoring them to happy and sustainable lives.